Hi guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoners War video. A few days back, we had the second siege that was in tournament format. First thing, I am sorry to tell you that today's video is going to be a little different from my past videos because I simply pre-recorded the fights. I noticed that the siege tournament is a lot quicker, meaning it's fast paced, so if I don't get my attacks in early, the siege might end in a few hours, right? So I didn't want to miss my chance to get the extra guild points and crystals. And also my wife had friends over the day of this siege, so I didn't want to be recording in front of them. So nonetheless, I pre-recorded 8 fights. I missed 2 because I totally forgot to click the save button for to record the fight right after. You know, you only get that one chance to save the fight or save the video, and I totally missed it. I'll still try my best to explain the defense and offense for the fight that I missed. I think I remember one for sure, and the other one, I'm not really sure. No, actually, I remember both pretty well. So I think I could explain what I went into and what offense I chose. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So the first tower that I went into was tower number 4 on the right side of the map, and it was a nat 5 tower. I took the entire tower, so we will look at the pre-recorded fights now. But before we go into the pre-recorded fights, let's talk about the one that I missed. The one that I missed, the defense was Chow lead, Ethna, and Harmonia. When I first saw this, I assumed that the Ethna was going to be super fast so that it could control and defense break my team. So assuming this, I took Fran, Savannah, and Camilla. Obviously Fran and Savannah were on Will, and Camilla was just Camilla. The reason for this is because Ethna's AI isn't that great. I think it prioritizes skill 3 most of the time. I'm not 100% sure, but this is what I saw. But anyways, I assumed that I was going to use skill 3, go for my Camilla, and my Camilla is going to take some damage, but even though if it gets stunned, it'll just come back because obviously Ethna's going to crit, right? So that was my reason for picking Camilla, to counter the Ethna moving first. When I look into it right now, Fran wasn't the best choice. I just wanted a sustain unit, right, to give the heals. Attack buff is a plus, but I don't think I really needed it. But I wasn't thinking straight, I just wanted to get my attacks in quick, so I took Fran. Last pick was Savannah for defense break and pushback. I wanted a reliable defense breaker and a win unit that the Chow will not target, and also for a unit that will do a lot of damage so that I could kill off the Chow quick, right? Because Chow has an annoying passive where he heals at the start of every turn, right? And I think he reduces his debuffs by 1 turn. I'm not exactly sure, but he's usually really tanky. He puts out a lot of damage and he heals all the time, so you need to have enough damage to kill him off. So that's why I took Savannah. I had 2 choices, the Savannah or the Feng Yan, the Wind Panda, but to be honest, in Siege, Wind Panda has a lot more uses, so I took Savannah because I wanted to save my Wind Panda. Yeah, so my plan was to kill off the Ethna fast because she is the one that defense breaks and controls. And when I went into the fight, I was surprised because the Ethna was slower than my Savannah. So I did have a Fran lead because that was the only universal lead, and I didn't have any other lead to use. So I took the 10% speed lead, and my Savannah is on 250 speed. So really, the Ethna was slower than 260. Also, the only unit on Will on their team was Ethna. So here I had 2 choices, to use skill 3 to push back the Chow and Harmonia and let the Ethna move, or use skill 2 to strip the Will on Ethna and hope that my Savannah procs. And I went for the latter. I stripped the Ethna, and thankfully my Savannah did proc, and that was it. The game was over from then. I got my defense break, I got my pushback, I killed off the Ethna, then I killed off the Chow, and Harmonia was just there to do nothing. So that was my first fight. So I'm going to show you the rest of the fights now. 4 fights from the nat 5 tower, and then the other 4 fights is from a nat 4 tower, and I'll explain it when we look at that. So now let's look at the battles right now. Oh, before we go into it, some people might be wondering, oh, what is this, right? What am I showing you? So this is my contribution at the end of the battle. We won, and I was first place in contribution, and I'll also show you why I got so many points, which defense did so well, and yeah. Anyways, let's go back into the fights. Okay, so this was fight number 1, and it was against a Sierra Lauren Perna, and I took in my own Sierra Lauren Perna. I was hoping that their Lauren was on Violent and maybe it's slower than mine, but I kind of knew in my head that their Lauren is going to be faster because For people that watched my video in the past, you guys should know that my Lauren is on Violent and it's not really that fast. It's on 250 speed. So this was G1 Siege, so I was assuming that the other opponent's Lauren is always going to be faster. Thinking about it now, I really should have taken Orion, but I didn't, and I took Lauren. Maybe I was kind of cocky on myself, thinking that my Lauren had better runes. But anyways, hoping that I go first, I was thinking of pushing back and defense breaking the Lauren and finishing off the Lauren quick. And yeah, then work on the Sierra, because the Sierra will probably go for my Sierra or the Lauren, and my Perna's gonna be untouched. So kill off the Lauren, then work on the Sierra, and then finally kill off their Perna. So that was my plan, and we'll look at how this game went. So yeah, his Lauren went first, but I was able to steal the turn right after. Because I took the next turn, I pushed back the Sierra, so my Sierra moves first. And knowing that the Lauren still had some attack bar left, I was like, okay, let's kill off the Sierra so she can't bomb anybody. So that's what I did. I went for the Sierra. This did not kill, but thankfully my Sierra, you know, this is why Sierra is so good. She procs every turn. It's like a Perna, procs every turn. My Sierra procced, and then we killed off the Sierra here, I believe. Oh no, we didn't. Oh, we did. Continuous damage. And then we start working on the Perna, because really, I just wanted to kill the Perna's first life, so I killed the Perna, and then I started going back for the Lauren. Yeah, I knew that if my Perna didn't have defense break, it will always go for the Sierra. So while controlling the Lauren, I just made sure that we kill off whatever we have left, right? At this point, we're controlling their team and they can't come back. So yeah, that's how it went. It was a pretty simple fight. As soon as their Lauren didn't target my Lauren, and when my Lauren took the next turn, I was able to control their team. So that's how the first battle went. So I mean, people could say that I was pretty lucky, and I think I was pretty lucky, right? But nonetheless, we won. So 1 win there. So this was the second fight, and it was a pretty simple one. I mean, when you guys see this kind of defense, you should very first think about Lucian, right? I mean, you could always suspect that they might have like crit damage reduction artifacts or damage from wind like reduction artifacts, but unless they're all equipping that kind of artifact, the Lucian should just eat them up, right? Because what's the threat here? There's no fire threat, right? So we don't have to worry about glancing, especially if your Lauren is 100% crit. And there's nothing that's faster than you, right? Looks here, the fastest is probably the Vivaciel maybe, or even the Fran. So you could kind of guess that the fastest is going to be 150 speed, and they're going to be all on Violent, right? Nonetheless. So knowing that, you take in your Lucian, especially because you know that especially because I know that my Lucian could do like 50k damage with all the cards, and I'm pretty sure that the Fran and the Vivaciel does not have 50k. Maybe the Vivaciel, but not Fran for sure. And the Jaeger, it's debatable, but because he needs to bring in so much attack, well, I think people kind of prioritize attack, right? It's gonna either be on HP crit damage attack or maybe even HP crit damage HP. But again, if it's not on triple HP, it's really hard to hit that 50k HP threshold. So knowing this, I took in my Lucian, and let's look at the fight. This is gonna be a really quick one. Yeah, I go first. Give the turn to Lucian, and when you look at this, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, 16, almost 50k, right? 15, I think 15k on the Fran, but yeah, they didn't have anything close to 50k HP, and that's how the game ended. So again, a very easy fight. So that was 2 wins there. Well, 3 wins, right? Because I explained how I won the one that I didn't record. Here is fight number 4, and it was against a John and whatever this, I forgot this light Oracle girl, no, occult girl's name is, but I know the dark one, Nikki, but I don't know this one. And then the Kumar. So again, team like this, it's pretty easy if you are confident that you're gonna outspeed this occult girl, because this girl strips, right? So knowing that, we can't take second turn cleave or anything like that. So to be safe, I took my copper bulldozer because I know my Amaseti is pretty fast, right? Almost, I think, 280 speed. So knowing, and they don't have a speed lead either. So if this Nikki is on Swift, it could outspeed, but again, people don't give the best Swift runes to Nikki. I mean, she's definitely not Nikki, sorry, the light occult girl. She's definitely not the first priority for Swift runes. And there's also a very high chance that she's gonna be on Violent or some kind of control set like Despair. So knowing this, I took in my copper bulldozer. My plan was to go first, kill off this occult girl, because I know that we know that we could only buff one unit. We didn't want the white occult girl to strip if we don't kill it first, right? So we kill it first, and then we let the John and Kumar go, and then we kill off the John and then work on the Kumar. So that was the plan, and this is how it went. We go first, buff the copper, we kill the occult girl, then the John goes, the Kumar goes, then we kill the John, and then we work on the Kumar. So at this point, it could be a little tricky, right? Kumar has heal, has silence, he has speed buffs, but I was kind of believing in my stuns, but you can see here I'm not getting my stuns here, so I was kind of scared. I have to make sure my Amaseti lives so that it takes the hits from the Kumar. See, again, no stun, the heal comes in. If the Kumar procced a little more, I think we would have lost, or we would have been close to losing, but that didn't happen. Again, the third time we're missing stun, but now at this point he's low enough. Oh wait, yeah, at this point he's low enough that if he's gonna heal here, but we get him low enough from those auto attacks. We just have to get one stun right there. There it is, marching shout, and then I didn't have to do this. I could just went for the auto with the bulldozer and it'll done the job. But anyways, this is how we won the fight. Okay, and this is our 5th battle. It's our last battle in the tower, the Nat 5 tower. And this was the last battle in the Nat 5 tower. It was against Kamoon, Ritesh, and Virad. So knowing that they have Ritesh and Virad, I wanted Will on my team. Reason why I took the Amelia. And looking at their team, you might think, oh wait, they don't have any buffs. Why are you taking Bover? But really, in their team, the Kamoon shield is a buff every turn, so that's 1 stack. And the Ritesh, people do give him a good amount of crit rate because he gets speed buff from that, right? And that speed buff is a buff, so that's another stack. So knowing that, I took the Bover plus the Amelia, and you know, at this point, the last one has to be the Skogul, so I took my Skogul team in this format. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Knowing that they have no chance of CCing me, there's only one outcome for this fight. There you go. See buff? You see that buff because he got the speed buff. Nothing because we have Will, and the shield gave me my five stacks. And then we start working on one unit at a time. I think I ping-ponged a little because I wanted the shield to be going on different units, but nonetheless, this battle was in the bag. Yeah, I think there's maybe one like this. At this point right here where the Skogul does not have Will, this is when it gets a little scary. But I think we never got defense broken, or maybe we did once, but there was no follow-up damage to actually kill the Skogul, so everything was good. So yeah, you see I ping pong. I did it once on the I was doing it on Ritesh, but then I used it on Virad because he's the only CC. So yeah, we started focusing him. And really, the game would have been a lot quicker if my Skogul procced, but I don't think he procced in the beginning at all. So it took a little while to kill off their first unit. But yeah, here too, you see that the Ritesh couldn't do anything. At this point, I think we win from a proc though. At this point, we throw at procs and we win. Yep. So that was the 5th battle of the tower. Really simple. I think really safe. There is nothing to be scared of there. Okay, finally let's go into the Nat 4 towers. But before we go into the Nat 4 towers, I'm gonna talk about the fight that I didn't record, and it was a simple fight. It was against Kamoon, Vigorous Skogul, one of the most meta defenses in the game. And what I did was just take my own Kamoon, Vigorous Skogul. And yeah, None of their units had will. I went first because my vigor is pretty fast on 275 speed, I think, and we had Kamoon lead, so it was definitely fast, almost 300 speed with the lead. Sorry, not 300, sorry, like 280 something speed. But nonetheless, we went first. We defense broke the Kamoon. We snapped it off very first turn, and then we just worked on the other 2 units. It was really easy, and that was that. Anyways, that was pretty simple, right? So this was the second fight in the NAF4 towers. It was against Martina China with Hwadam. So I took in a weird team this time. I wanted a quick match, so this was kind of scary. But I took Julie, Megan, and Lucian. And obviously you guys know the turn order, the Megan buffs, the Julie goes, and my Lucian finishes off. The thing is, my Megan is slow. It's at 160 speed. So I was kind of scared because, you know, usually the Shinas are fast, right? Shina Martina teams are usually fast, but there are, in G3 they do mix it up, right? There's a fast Shina team and there's a slow one that's really tanky, so it kind of throws the opponents off. But in G1, I kind of assumed that the Shina Martinez are going to be fast, so I was kind of scared if the Shina was going to outspeed. But we went in, but if it doesn't, we buff, we use skill 3 from our Julie, right? Because she'll hit 6 times, and then we finish off with the Lucian, and it was gonna be a cleanup. So if the China doesn't outspeed, we win, and I think that's what happened. We go first, right? And they have a lot of buffs, right? They have 2 buffs, so my Julie's gonna do a lot of damage. If you look at here, look at that on the China, 5k per hit, and because of that, the Hwadam gets low, and then we just clean up with the Lucian. So that was that simple. So that was that battle. Now let's go to this third one. So this one we went against a Galleon, Yen, Clara, which is pretty outdated, right? Really, usually now the Yen is replaced by Miho. Obviously Miho has less counters compared to the Yen. But again, a simple way to beat this defense was to outspeed. So I took my Susano, Orion, Garo. The Orion I didn't use in the first NAF5 fight, or the Sierra Lauren fight. So I took that, and this was simple. If I outspeed, I win, right? So I went in hoping that they didn't have will, and no one did. So great, perfect target on that harmless prank, and we win. After we kill the Yen, there's no threat. Nothing could kill the Garo. So, and I think the Garo kind of counters a lot. Look, counter, boom. No stun, but you know, there's nothing that could happen here. Easy one. So that was the third fight. Okay, let's go to the fourth. Okay, here, so there was a weird team on a Fran, Orion, Miho team. So I assume at this point I didn't have much speed buffers left. That was fast. My Chloe wasn't ruined, and even if I take the Chloe, there's a chance of strip. But nonetheless, if I had Chloe, maybe I would have taken it. Anyways, I didn't have any more fast buffers left. So looking at this, I was like, okay, they have a Miho, and that's the only damage dealer, right? Everything else is defense breaker or buffer. So I took my Xiaoling, because my Xiaoling does have high resistance, 77%. I mean, not that high, but it is high enough. And then we took Triana as a safety net, right? Because just in case that the Orion gets a defense break on my Xiaoling and the Mio uses skill 2, who knows, the Triana will probably save her with the passive. And then finally I took Skogul because I know my Xiaoling is gonna crit all the time on the Miho, so I wanted the Skogul Rock to finish off the Miho. And I think that's exactly what happened. The Miho continued, they went first. It's really funny that the Orion was slower than the Fran, but he got the defense break, but I stole the turn. And after this, at this point, there was nothing that he could do, right? Through the rock. I think we get the Fran low enough, and the Fran actually dies. Or do we just get the... Okay, we got the Orion low enough, and the Orion died. Guys, this is the second round of G1 Siege Tourney, and to be honest, this opponent was pretty weak. I don't know why we got matched up with a low G1 team, but nonetheless, this is what happened. And yeah, we finished off the Fran, and then we just waited for Skogul's Rock, I think. yeah, we crit there. It's gonna continue going for a Xiaoling, not much damage, and rock. And then we just wait for it. And that's how we won that fight. Okay guys, this is the last fight of the tournament, and it was against a Galleon, Sige, and Ethna. Oh wow, guys, this is a Nat 5 tower, I just noticed. Maybe I didn't finish off a Nat 4 tower. I think maybe I didn't finish off 2 towers, I just helped finishing off other towers. Anyways, this is the last fight that we went into. Galleon, Sige, Ethna. And when you look at this, you'll be like, oh, they're fast, right? The Ethna's going first, defense breaking, or using skill 3. I think the owner of this team, or the owner of the player that owns this team, probably wants Ethna to use skill 2, right? To cycle and get defense break, or to stun off a core unit, which is kind of weird. If it goes first, yeah, I think the defense break makes more sense, right? And then the Galleon goes attack buffs, defense breaks. See, I don't like this team so much because there's 2 defense breakers, but nonetheless, that's what he did. It's not really an attack bar booster, but Ethna does cycle her turns with that skill too. Anyways, and then the Sige goes. So this is a speed battle, and I still had my Clara left, so I took my Galleon Clara Miho, which is on Violet. Yeah, Swift Violet, and just kill off whoever gets defense broken, because I was kind of confident I was going to go first. So that's what happened. I went first, no will, and the Ethna gets stunned. Me assuming the Ethna is going to go first in their team got stunned, so that was great. But look, you saw that? So the Galleon went first, because you guys could tell because the Ethna didn't wake up. So really the turn was Galleon, Ethna, Sige. Or Galleon, Sige, Ethna. I don't care at this point. But this defense is just wrong. If it's gonna be this slow, I mean, maybe it's not that slow. It could be on like 250 speed. But if it's gonna be in 250 speed, you have to probably expect that the opponent's gonna be faster than you most of the time. Looking at this team, because the Ethna's base speed is insane, like 119, 116, something like that. So people are gonna assume that you are taking advantage of that base speed and going first, but this wasn't the case. So if that's not the case, you need all of these guys on will. Really, it has to be violent will, fatal rage will, whatever this is, and despair or violent will. It has to be on will. But this guy didn't keep that. So look, even though he went second turn, even though the Galleon went, my Mio eventually moved and just finished off his damage dealer. And we just work on the Ethna here, and there's nothing that the Ethna could do. Yep, and then it was only the Galleon, and that was the game. So with this, I was able to get 10-10 wins on Siege tourney round 2 for G1. And it's not really a tournament, but nonetheless, we get 4. I noticed that we actually follow the tournament. We get 2 sieges this week. I mean, last week, and the upcoming week. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, this was my 10-10 win. With that, I was able to accrue 150 points, right? 150 points. But now I'm going to show you how I accrued the other 80 points and which defense was able to get that. So let's get right into that. Okay, we are now in my account, and I'm going to show you my defense records. Right, so we won that fight. You see it right here. I was first place in contribution, so I was able to accrue 1,000 guild points and 320 crystals. And now this is how the map looked. Okay, so we kind of stomped their team, and the tower that I was talking of in the Nat 5 towers is this tower here. That's the first tower that we took, and the defense that was doing so well, my defense, is right in this tower, and I'm going to show you what defense that was. And it was my, where are you? It was my Miho, Fran, Ludo team. So for people that know, this is my second Miho on Violent Will. It's slow, right? I purposely made them slow, and it also applies to what I've been saying to the other guys' defense, right? The Galleon, Ethna, Sige team. If it's gonna be slow, it needs to be on will. So you see here, Violent Will. The Fran has Violent Will, and the Ludo has Violet Will. Oh, I'm missing an artifact. But this team actually got 14 wins and 1 loss. Remembering last siege, the record was 2 wins, 1 loss. And now in this siege, we got 12 wins more. So they weren't able to finish it off. These are all defense successes from the rogue squad. And you can see that one guy used like 8 attacks on this defense. Then this guy also used like 6 attacks on this defense. And also this person used 1 attack on this defense. And they just couldn't finish off the defense. I don't know why. But anyways, it did really well. And 12 wins, that's where the 60 points is coming from. And now where is the another 20 coming from? So this defense that's been doing really bad in the other siege battles actually got some defense successful here. So we could kind of assume that the guild that we went against is pretty weak, right? It's G1 but probably low G1. And like we said, our guild is like middle G1 usually. So there's the 3 points coming in. And then finally the last is from, oh, it's not from my Vigorous Gogol. Oh, it's from this. It's from my Sierra Pernaloran, and you can see that we got that 1 defense successful there. So that's where the 20 points came in, and that's how I got 80 more points, and that's how I got first place in contribution, right there. So yeah, just to show you the defense against and their runes, because maybe people might be interested. This is still G1, right? A lot of people, I won't say some, I'll say a lot of people might say, oh, that's a weak defense. I could beat that easily. I have a counters for that. But yeah, we know that. There's a counter for every defense. We know that we could beat it. But that's not the point. I'm just here to show you that this works. And you can't argue that. This is G1 Siege. So we're going against G1 Guild. I know that if you're a better player that you could beat it, but there are still a lot of people in G1 guilds that are really not G1 level, and they need to attack, and defense like this still works. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna show you the runes. Violet Will, although it looks slow, right? Because the base speed is so high, this is still 182 speed, and she has a lot of HP, a lot of attack, a lot of crit damage, right? So that's that. The Fran is just Fran, what I usually use. She got a lot weaker than usual. I usually give her better runes, but again, I got more units and a lot of good runes have been moved to other units, so that's why she's looking like this. The speed tuning is kind of off because she's a lot faster than what the Mio is or what the Ludo is. So I might, like I said, I might make another Fran, and I think Fran is very useful. A nat 3 for having attack buff plus will, plus immunity, it's nuts, right? I mean, compared to Usa, Usa has a shield and will, and they're 3 turns. Okay, that's 3 turns. Okay, so that's one thing better. At least one more turn for immunity, right? And the shield. So let's just assume that the attack buff and shield cancels each other off. The will for Fran is 2 turns. Usa is 3 turns. So yeah, the Usa wins. But again, Usa is a nat 5. Fran is a nat 4. A nat 3. Not even nat 4. Nat 3. Let's look at skill 2. The Fran cleanse heals on skill 2, proportionate to her attack. And the Wusa attacks and heals HP. I don't know by how, I don't remember by how much, but yeah, of my max HP. So okay, so he heals too, and he heals everybody, but no cleanse. Okay, and then skill 1, he has a sleep that's small chance, and Fran has a pushback plus attack break. So looking at this, Fran is, I don't know, some people will say Fran is slightly more underwhelming than the Wusa, or some people might say, dang, for nat 3, Fran is packing a punch. And that's my opinion. She's packing a punch. I probably use Fran a lot more than I use my Wusa. So for those reasons, I think I'll make a second Fran, and I think I'm sure of that. Up to this time, I was using my ancient coins on runes, but really 90% of the runes that I get from those aren't really useful anyways. So yeah, second Fran it is. The more I talk about it, the more I'm sure of it. But yeah, guys, that was it for today. Sorry for the different kind of video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but I try to explain why I took my offenses into the defense that I went into. And yeah, it was a good siege for me. I got a lot of points. I got a lot of crystals. And I am looking forward to the next one. So if there's anything else that you guys want me to do in Summoners War, please put a comment below. If you guys liked the video, please give me a like. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing because that really helps. Anyways, see you guys next time. Bye.